fails, it never gives up, it never runs out on me. Your love never fails, it never gives up, it never runs out on me.
Good morning. Woo, that was loud. Welcome to church, everybody. Excited we can come together today. VBS starts tonight. So excited for VBS. Danielle has been working hard, and all the people that's blessed her with. It looks amazing. It's excited for that. Hi. Oh, you weren't waving to me. Okay. That's one of those awkward. Thought someone was waving to me, but it wasn't even me. It's okay. Okay, so looks like there's some traffic issues out there. There's some stuff, people being blocked in. Tan Honda. I have never done this before in almost 4 years. Tan Honda, DSZ 6217. If you actually remember your license plate, I'm pretty impressed because I have no idea what mine says. Green Honda truck and a white Cadillac. I guess they're blocking some vehicles in that can't get out.
It's probably that very first double row and somebody's pulled in behind there blocking that one person in the middle.
Yes.
So if you happen to be halfway out in the parking lot and one of them descriptions fit, that's probably your car. So, sorry to interrupt you.
No, Dana, you're the man, okay? you interrupt me anytime you want, okay? So yeah, if that's your car or truck, and people are just trying to leave, you could maybe think about that. Tan Honda, green Honda truck, and white Cadillac. So with that being said, excited for VBS tonight. It starts at 6 o'clock. Looking forward to that. Hopefully it's not too late to sign up your kids, grandkids, neighbor kids. It's going to be a wonderful time. It's amazing watching the place be overtaken by just kids having a lot of fun. Lots and lots of good stuff. I forget to mention this last service, but if you're helping and you have a T-shirt and you want to see Danielle at some point before tonight, it'll make it a lot easier on her. You can get your T-shirt from her for tonight. So excited for all that. Lots of good stuff coming. Excited for VBS. There is a youth lock-in coming up on Friday at 7 p.m. It does say Mega Week Reunion, but it's a lock-in open to any youth that want to come to that. Excited for it. We're going to have worship, food, and just a lot of stuff that we're looking forward to. So that starts at 7. It's over at 9 a.m. the next morning. It'll be real good. So just excited. Fair's coming up. Lots of exciting things. If I could just excited about just VBS last night or a couple of nights ago, just to tell you how good a job Danielle's doing, okay? Yes, I'm a pastor. My heart is for my kids, but Danielle pours into my kids. And so he has been working so hard on memorizing the Bible, and in a matter of like 2 or 3 weeks, he's up to 25 or 20 or so books of the Bible. But he, out of nowhere, he's like, Dad, why is it so important to believe in Jesus? What happens when you don't? And so I talked to him just for a minute about just the reality of what we believe, and you're either in it or you're not. And I talked to him just about hell for a moment. He's like, well, what's that mean? I was like, well, son, it's a place where God's not, and where all the good stuff, all the joy, and all the amazing things God has for us here is not existent there. And he's like, Jesus, I love you. I don't want to go to hell. And it just, it just is such a blessing, because I know the heart of Danielle and the people that serve, and I know Cole is a kid that is crazy at times, but just knowing that he's surrounded by people to pour into him that love on him is just blessing. So I'm excited for VBS. I'm blessed by Danielle and all the people that serve, and so I say all that because people that pour into your kids are valuable, and they're irreplaceable. And so I for one, just before it starts, want to say thanks to Danielle, but just excited that God is moving. And Cole even, he started sharing. He's like, hey, you don't want to go to, he says, well. And that's probably a good thing, because I don't want him walking around, hey, you're going to go to hell if you don't believe in Jesus. And I'm like, but he was sharing with one of his friends, like, hey, you got to love Jesus. You don't want to go to well because God's not there. And I'm like, wow, Lord. Wow, God. And so my son is not perfect. But just felt like encouraging you guys with that and sharing that, because, gosh, looking around here, I'm excited about VBS and all the kids taking over the church. So if you know of kids that can come, just sign them up, bring them. It'll be amazing. So with that being said, let's pray. God, just thank you so much for who you are. Thank you for your goodness and your love. God, thank you for just loving us with all that you have. God, for giving it all, just for us to have an opportunity to choose you. Lord, so God, I just am excited to be in this place this morning. I pray, Lord, that you bless this offering, that your will be done. And just, God, we give you just our prayer request, God. Lord, there's so many things that we face in this life, that we walk through, that we wrestle with, that we struggle, that we're brokenhearted over, that we feel defeated, God, but you know right where we're at, God, and you long for us just to turn to you and trust you, because God, your word clearly says you work all the things to the good for those who love you. So God, I pray that we're people that love you, and I pray that we're people that trust you, Lord, knowing that you'll give us exactly what we need when we need it. Thank you for this time of worship. We just welcome you to this place, God. Let us be excited this morning just to love on you, to lift up a song of praise to you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
When I think of all I've seen, nothing compares to what you give. And to drink of what you bring, you quench the thirst for me to live. I am satisfied by what tenderness you've shown to me, and I envy all that I am. And you fill my life, everything to me, and there's nothing else I need anymore. And I know and there's nothing else I need anymore. I have tasted and I know the fire birth inside will only grow. I have sought all that this world tried to offer me, and it led me to your feet. And and I empty all that I am, and you fill my life, everything to me, and there's nothing else I need anymore, and I know you, everything to me, and there's nothing else I need anymore. I will lay down all my needs, and you will come and make them new, to make you my only desire, my desire. And you fill my life, everything to me, everything to me. And you fill my life, everything to me, and there's nothing else I need anymore, and I know you are everything to me, and there's nothing else I need anymore. Nothing else I need, and there's nothing else I need anymore. Nothing else I need, 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 nothing else I need.
Yes, Lord, there's nothing else that we need because we have you, Jesus.
So wonderful, so wonderful is your unfailing love. Your cross has spoken mercy over me. No eye has seen, no ear has heard, no heart can fully know how glorious, how beautiful you are. To your wonders anew, you captured my heart with this love. Because nothing on earth is as beautiful as you. You opened my eyes to your wonders anew. You captured my heart with this love. Because nothing on earth is as beautiful as you. Beautiful one.
is as beautiful as you. Heard Tony Evans yesterday, and he said something like this. He says, you know, heaven has a holy hound dog. And he says, most of us know what it's like to be chased by that hound dog. And we've been in places where the hound dog, we came to know the Lord, and we went astray. And then we came back, we went to college, lived a party life. And the hound dog come after us. He says, and he says something like, and he's nipping at your nails, and he goes, ugh! And he's got something else to say. I'm not that good. Anyways, most of us know what that is, and we're glad the hound dog rounded us up and got us back and showed us the way. All creation cries out with longing, with groans only you can comprehend, and with wisdom you always answer. Give the words of life so unfairly, and your glory shines all around us. Your faithfulness shown for all to see. When we think of all of your wonders, the beauty of your plan has been revealed. We walk in your light, and we walk in it. Shine bright, let your glory fill this land. Lift high, the King of Kings, the great I am, Jesus. You are the way, you are the way. We can see the works of the loving hand, with the hope and peace not made by man. When you poured out your grace and your mercy, and you held out your arms, so we could see that for all mankind, set the captives free and shine bright. Let your glory fill this land. Lift high, King of Kings, the great I am, Jesus. You are the way, you are the way. Na 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 na, Jesus. Na 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 na. You are the way. Na 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 na. Jesus. Na 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 na. Shine bright. Let your glory fill this land. Lift high. King of Kings, the great I am. Shine bright. Let your glory fill this land. Lift high. King of Kings, the great I am. Jesus. You are the way. You are the way. Jesus. You are the way. You are the way. You are the way.
Yes, Jesus is the only way. Thank you, Lord, for letting us recognize that you're the only way. Thank you for putting people in our lives to let us know even about you, that we could reach out and seek you and ask you to come into our hearts, Lord. God, I just pray for everyone here today. And Lord, I just pray if there's someone here today that doesn't know you, they can ask someone here in the church, how do I find Jesus? How do I ask him into my heart? Because our lives are forever changed when we have Jesus. He loves us so much.
He is jealous for me. Love's like a hurricane. I am a tree bending beneath the weight of his wind and mercy. All of a sudden, I am unaware of these afflictions eclipsed by glory. And I realize just how beautiful you are and how great your affections are for me. Oh, how he loves us all. Oh, how he loves us. How he loves us all. I am unaware of these afflictions eclipsed by glory, and I realize just how beautiful you are and how great your affections are for me. Oh, how he loves us. Oh, how he loves us. Oh, how he loves us. Oh, Thank you, Lord, for the love of a heavenly hound dog, that you chase us down. And thank you, Lord, for recognizing when you're tugging on us, pulling us back. Keep us back, Lord. Ask for a hedge of protection. Let us always see your love. Your love force is so evident, Lord. Thank you for this time and bless this time. In your holy name, amen.
Glory, and I realized just how beautiful you are and how great. Right up here by the tiki bar. Hey, good morning. How we doing? How we doing? Good morning. Good morning. Good to see everybody. Over here's a big old section. What's going on? How we doing over here? Make some noise. Any noise? Hey, I could do that again, man. Do that one. Yeah, that's the one I like right there. You're my favorite today, right now, man, I tell you. I like that so well. One more time. Yeah. That's the noise you make in church right there. That's perfect. Let's come and worship the Lord. Hey, all right. Good morning. Good morning. I need up to the balcony to visit everybody. How we doing? Thinking about Courtney, Amanda, thinking about her, okay? Love that girl. She's a little girl. I used to take her to work with me, right? Remind her of that, would you? Remind her of that. Thinking about her today. And, Jeff, what'd you do to your arm? You had a surgery. You didn't let me know. I would have come. What? You came to my knee doctor? Hey, that didn't work that great. So I'm hoping for you. Good. What are you pointing at, Greg? You pointing at... Oh, really? Is he a bad patient? No? Oh, you're getting your gallbladder out? You need to talk to me. I lost my gallbladder and I'd love to have it back. Oh, yeah? Oh, that's bad. Put it this way. You need anything greasy after your gallbladder comes out? Right? There's no screen door, man. It just comes right on. Morning, everybody. Good to see you. Thanks for coming. So glad you're here. I'm pretty excited to be back in a language I understand. Wow. I'm thankful for those who filled in for me. I'll take a couple Peru people if you didn't get to speak last week a little bit. If you're here today and you're back in from Peru, Chris just came in. You may want to share. You may don't have to share. But if anybody's here and wants to share a minute, or they didn't say something they want to say last week, I'll take a Peru person or two. Just anybody? Why are you pointing at Henry? Henry hates that country. I'm kidding. He could tell about seeing his family. He doesn't want to come. I know Henry really well. You want to share, Henry? No, I knew you didn't. So. You want to share? You got a baby. Come on, Trish. Who else wants to share? Anybody want to share any Peru stuff real quick? Yeah, come on. You shared last week, but you were crying most of the time. So hey, I got a yellow microphone. Is that okay? Back there in the back, got something that has yellow on it. Does that help us, Joe? Right here. Come on, Trish. Can you make it up there? What? Go ahead. Anybody else? Is that Natalie? Yeah. Are you going to share? Come on and share. Oh, I was hoping you'd come, man. That's the dude right there. Where's Grant at? He shared last week, though, didn't he? Is he here? Grant, where are you? Grant, where are you, man? You two boys, come here. Come here. I just want to see you two boys go down. I've been talking about you three boys a bunch, so there they are, okay? So come down here, okay? Good. I got exactly who I want on the stage with me right now. Perfect. Right up here with the tiki bar. Hey, Vacation Bible School starts tonight, right? So, hey, this summer, 115 kids at youth camp, 44 people went to Peru. We're expecting 130, 140 kids at Vacation Bible School. If you got kids, grandkids, great-grandkids, great-great-great-grandkids, if you got cousins, nephews, bring them, all right? Bring them. There's more people working, more volunteers working at this year's Vacation Bible School than we've ever had. We are so excited about that. We're so happy. In fact, how many of y'all are working tonight at the Vacation Bible School? Look at that. Good, I'm not coming. All right. No, I'm kidding. No, that's wonderful. That's awesome. Greg, are you coming? Well, why are you so delayed? Did you get like a Holy Spirit, with the Holy Spirit beating you up there or something?
I just want to talk a little bit about Jamie. I got some updates from him.
Oh, we don't care. Later, I just do that, make it later, man. Go, Peru, go.
Okay, thank you. So I'm back up here because I told.
Just go ahead, they got you.
I told Pastor Mark I was mad because I tried to say all these awesome things and, I start crying, and so pray for me about that.
No crying.
So no crying today.
I'm going to pitch you. I'm going to pitch.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm kidding.
No crying. So through this trip, I kind of was reconfirmed that my ability to be positive has been my gift from God. And I just felt like...
Lay it on us.
I know. So I just felt like seeing all these kids was just amazing, that you could tell that they've just grown up with the Lord, and they're really just inspirational to me. Being there with them helped me. And that was just amazing because, okay.
There it comes. I'm pinching.
I'm 42 years old. I don't feel like it, but it's like I'm 42. And I've been through, my life growing up was kind of a mess. But you wouldn't know it looking at me. Most people say, I don't know how you are who you are because of where you came from.
That's me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. I get it. I can relate. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I just wanted to be encouraging to everyone here, and that you can pass it on to everyone that you know, no matter what your age, no matter where you are. Through God, we as individuals can be very helpful to others. One person can help. One person can help.
Beyond what you can ever believe.
Beyond.
People have no idea the potential they have within them
Yes.
to make a difference in somebody else's life.
Yeah.
They sitting here right now don't know.
Right.
They're caught up, that you get caught up in your own stuff, and you
Yes.
don't realize what a difference you can make in the lives of others.
Yes.
Where's that baby? I'm kidding. That one's had a hard day all morning, hasn't she? Yeah.
So, for me, those of you that were here last
Hey,
week, mine
don't
was
worry
just
about it. It's okay.
Yeah. Just a smile. Just a smile changed somebody else's world. And a woman that grew up with the Lord, you could tell. But me sitting next to her and smiling did something for her. But it was God. God was with me for her. And it's awesome.
Yeah.
And then I think about Pastor Mark. He's one person that has, for so many years, has accomplished so much over there in Iquitos. One person. But has brought all of us there. But not only is he ministering in Iquitos, but that affects us here.
I agree.
It's just, the whole realization of that was just amazing to me.
Yeah.
So that's all.
The difference, right. Perfect, wonderful. You did it.
And
Great.
I brought Natalie.
Now, Natalie, that's your daughter.
Yes.
I'm just telling, I know that.
Yeah.
But she's going off to college.
Yeah.
So it's wonderful when these teenagers, just before they go off to college, to take these mission trips.
Yeah.
Because you get something in them that gets stuck, and it's really good. Okay, right. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm
just
Natalie.
go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
go
this-
ahead, Natalie.
So this is my second time going. Better than the first time. It was every time I go, it's even better. And it was awesome that I got to have my mom with me, and then I brought my friend Aaliyah, and she's never been out of her comfort zone.
What'd she
before.
think about that?
She loved it. I wish she could come here.
Life-changing for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get
She's
too,
very in her own little space. She
Yeah.
loves to do ministry and stuff like that, but she's just in her space.
Yeah.
But I love going there. I wish I could go every year instead of every 2 years, but college and stuff coming up. But it's just cool to see how willing the kids are to want to know. With what little they have, they still want to know what we're teaching. And I think it makes a huge difference in their lives because, you know, since they have so little, it's like the one thing that they have. So.
Right. It's wonderful. Yeah. And you do a good job, girl. You do a good job. Excited to have you on the trip. And you're going off to play soccer. That's all. I don't want to interrupt that. You're going off to play soccer where?
At Muskingum.
Muskingum. Okay, played there, right? So looking forward to a big college career. Major in nursing. Mom wants me to get that in. Nursing and psychology. So she's trying to say you're an athlete and you're a genius. So, okay? So proud of you, girl. Proud of you. Noah.
Okay, this is my first trip to Peru, and this is my first time out of the country or doing anything like this.
Flying in general, right?
Yeah, flying.
You were sitting beside me first time we took off. It's like, I said, taking off's easy. The pilots just shoved the pedal down, you know, and it's, I said, landing's when it gets scary. He's like, really? Yeah.
It was just an awesome experience, just going and helping these people that have barely anything, and just it's humbling to see that we have so much. And there's like a personal like realization for me when I went to the service at Mark's when Mark went to go preach at the church. It was just like
Try again there. Keep going.
It was just like
Yeah.
the atmosphere of the place. It was just the Holy Spirit was upon like all of us, and there's just people running around and like passing out, and it was kind of weird, but
Yeah, like a Pentecostal church
Yeah.
thing, yeah. But the Spirit of God was alive in that place, man.
Yeah.
You didn't even know the words,
yeah,
right?
I didn't know the words and of the songs, but I was still trying to sing them, and it was just coming down on me, and I started crying, and it was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And
It was awesome.
And then there was a time where we were supposed to pray for each other, and this Peruvian man just came up to me, and he grabbed my hand, and then he started praying for me in Spanish, and then it was awesome, and I just prayed for him in English. We didn't understand each other, but it was just God's Spirit
Amen.
there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful.
And I really just had a realization that this is what God wants for me, and I'm on His path, and that was awesome.
But you showed up. You came to a Holy Spirit class one night. Was that you?
yeah.
'Cause and all of a sudden, prophetic, I think I was me. Prophetic, it was like,
Greg.
oh, somebody else?
Greg.
Okay, but somebody began to speak to you that the Lord's calling you into ministry, right? And that like blew your mind, right?
Yeah.
You never had thought about that ever before in your life. And then you go on this trip and like the Spirit of God just ministers to you. You don't understand jack nothing, but you feel God's presence, right?
Yeah.
Amazing. It's good, really good.
It was
Yeah.
life-changing.
Life-changing. For you three boys, I keep saying this. For these three boys right here, something got stirred in them that can't be unstirred. And the other two, they talked last week. You don't have to talk again unless you want to. But it's not rubbing off that quick, is it? Anyhow, but my point is, these three, when teenage girls go on a mission trip, they're the most valuable because they just instantly jump in with kids. They're naturals. It's just really good. It's amazing. Teenage boys come, and they start picking at each other. They end up outside. They just don't fit. These guys just jumped right in. I've never seen three teenage boys be so involved and be so part of and they made a major difference in the whole team. The girls we had were absolutely incredible. The girls here are just amazing. The boys here kind of lack at times. I'm making a joke. But these three boys jumped in, and something happened in them. I'm telling you, watch these three boys. Something happened in them that can't be undone. And it's really special and good. Thanks, Noah. He got thrown to the ground so many times, I felt bad. I was either the king in one of the big dramas or Justin was, and he was always the bad guy. So the guards would bring him in and throw him on the ground. I felt bad. At some point, I'm like, man, everybody throws you around. Justin picked you up one time, threw you in a bathroom that somebody had diarrhea all over the floor, right? Nobody knew that. And then one time he took a school chair. He put you down and put a school towel over your head, and it kind of slipped and went bam down on his head. And we're all going, that's great. Oh, sorry, man. I'm so sorry. No, I'm kidding. But they just, listen, when you got teenage boys, you started this. You have no idea the difference you can make when you engage in what God's calling you to do. You can make a very significant difference. You just got to get that turned on in you. And if you do, you'll find something very satisfying, very unbelievable comes out of you that you didn't know was there, that fulfills you and makes a major difference in others. And these boys felt it. You knew it was happening, didn't you? You knew it was happening. For the very first time, it's like, man, the Lord put me here and I'm on fire. The Lord put me here and I'm lighting a place. I'm here for a purpose and I'm doing it, and it's changing the whole room. It's changing the whole dynamic. It makes everything different. It's so awesome. The girls do it naturally. They do it very well. And I'm not trying to brag on just boys. There's teenage girls that were here that just did amazing. Sorry, go Trish. Sorry, it's good.
So for me, it's been just a consistency of seeing God's sovereignty everywhere that we've been this summer. It's been so amazing just to see Him be in control and have such an incredible plan and watch it unfold and everywhere we go. And then also, I've been several times, and it's just beautiful to see us grow as a team. The level of unity that was in this group was amazing, and we ran like a very well-oiled machine. And things were delegated out, and the people that carried those responsibilities carried them with great excellence. And even, like Mark said, with the parts that were given to the teenagers, they all took that responsibility very seriously and gave 100%, and it was just exciting to watch that manifest.
I was excited. Man, it made me excited. Your girl ran around a classroom one day just being a fool, just being crazy. Listen, these kids went into these classrooms often, these overpacked Peruvian classrooms, and her daughter ran laps in that room. And it was so joyful, and those kids laughed. So something happened in my heart that to see a teenager just giving themselves with no limits, no bounds, I was just excited because it's like they get it. There was a moment on this trip where the teenagers I went, they completely get it. They understand, because teenagers often hold back and they don't want to, they're embarrassed or this or that. You know, I let parents, I'm getting on a soapbox here, but I let parents tell me all the time, well, you know, I didn't have my kid do that because, you know, they're just nervous around crowd. I'm like, oh my goodness. Put your kids out there. You know what I mean? And get them in the right kind of peer pressure and see what they can do when God's moving, and they may be changed forever. If you hold back, if you let your kids use excuses, your parents, because should be the decision makers for your kids. Your kids don't make very good decisions. They fall back into their own flesh, you know, and your own flesh wants to be comfortable and not stretched or pushed. Right? So parents have this job at some point to stretch and push their kids, put them out there, you know what I mean? And for these kids that went, all of a sudden they started operating in a level they'd never operated in before. And realizing that's where they should have always been. Isn't that true? That's where I should have always been. Why have I ever held back? Sorry. Greg, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to say the same thing. It was another great year for me. With the kids, they did such a good job. There really wasn't a whole lot for the adults to do, to be honest, because they did a great job.
Yeah.
So Jeff Snyder and I and April, I don't know if they're here today or not.
They were here first service. They talked in first service.
We got an opportunity to go help Jamie Ketchell get settled in his new place, and that was a wonderful blessing. Me and Mark and Jeff and Jamie, we built bunk beds, and April and Leslie did a lot of painting, and he's still trying to get settled in. I was talking to him last night, and they're currently trying to work on some type of a water system because they've barely got a trickle of water, so they got to catch water all day. and then pump, get a pump system or whatever.
crew,
so
yeah.
so, but it was a great trip all in all. So I was thankful
Yeah.
I got to go again.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody. You boys want to say something? You want to say anything? No? Okay. Great. Wonderful, wonderful. Good job. Good job. Thank you so much. Very exciting time we had while we were out and about. What do you say? What do you say? Some of a pastor's job. My job, hey, is to try to encourage you in the Lord. Some of my job is just to try to stretch you a little. I feel like sometimes I'm supposed to step on your toes, and sometimes I'm supposed to be giving you hugs. You know what I mean? So I got this job of trying to encourage, at the same time trying to push. So I will say this, though, because I haven't forgot this. Normally for single girls in our church, I make this offer. I say to them, hey, you want to get married? They say, of course, yes. And I say, I'll have you married in a year. And they say, what do you mean? I said, but I get to say anything I want. And often, that's all they need to say, oh, no, we're not making that deal. But old Rachel here the other day said, okay. So, there's a big billboard up here just over Mixins and Fixins. No. But I am saying right here is our most eligible. Anybody that's got any other desperate person looking for somebody. What? No, there's stipulate. When I don't have any on that contract you signed, there was no limit, so I'm not going to pick you up with a homeless guy. So everybody, we're all on the lookout for Rachel a man, okay? How old are you? 26, okay? And you want him between 21 and 40? No? Right around your age? Handsome, right? Got a good job, right? A Christian, yeah. So, hey, that's what we're looking for. Because she said yes, we're going to mention Rachel a lot, okay? I only have a year. Less than a year now. And she put the date on the calendar. Yeah? If I think I can do it, everybody, it's a challenge for me. Okay? Everybody. You know any 20-year-olds that are single? Let's hook her up, okay? Let's hook her up, all right? Just fun stuff we like to do with ladies in our church. Father, thanks for time together today. Appreciate just the fun we can have in church, and Lord, just the things that have happened over the summer. Pray for this Vacation Bible School that begins tonight, and pray, God, that your Spirit, Lord, that there'd be fun and just interaction between adults and Lord, the understanding that we love kids and that the church is trying to minister hard to the children, and that all that stuff's there, but I pray that your Spirit would come and touch us. And Lord, like you've done in every other event this summer in our church, that your Spirit would come down at some point and change us on the inside. So Lord, I don't know what that means amongst a bunch of children here at our church, but I pray that, God, there's a moment where you come in so strong that the kids and then the adults that are here can't remain the same. Pray, Lord, as we speak this morning over the message this morning, God, that your power and your presence would be here. Thank you, Lord, for people that are here today that I haven't seen for a long time. Thank you, Lord, for your goodness. Thank you, God. Just touch and bless today, would you, Lord? Would you cause my mouth to be an instrument that you can use? And would you speak through me today, God, a message that would stir hearts? God, I need you. God, I know if you show up today, it'll be the difference. It'll make the difference. So, God, come and be among us today. And we give you praise, Lord, as we just preach your word and try to give us understanding, Lord, of things that often we overlook. So be mighty in this place. And we give you thanks for that in Jesus' name. Amen. Luke chapter 23. And when they had come to a place called Calvary, there they crucified him. And the criminals, one on the right and the other on the left. One on the right and one on the left. You know right where we're at in the story, don't you? It doesn't take much here to try to get us caught up. There on the cross, there's a criminal on the right and a criminal on the left. I've tried to point out just the obvious here. Jesus is right in the middle. I don't care what you say. Jesus is always getting in the middle. You hear me? Jesus right now in your life, I'm telling you, Jesus is trying to get right in the middle. He's trying to get right into play. He's trying to get between you and your circumstances. The Lord is trying to get in between you and your problems. The Lord is trying to get right in the middle of your life. The Lord is trying to be, He's trying to serve you right in the middle. You hear me? I know it's just a simple verse and you look at this thing, but here's two thieves hanging on a cross, right? Their lives are about to end, and Jesus is right in the middle of that. It's right here. Two criminals. The Old Testament predicted that he'd be crucified among thieves. He'd be crucified among criminals. So even in this very verse, it fulfills a promise, a prophetic promise that was given many hundreds of years before. It's just kind of amazing how God had a foreknowledge of what His Son would do. He'd be wounded for our transgression and bruised for our iniquity. The chastisement of our peace would be upon Him. And by His stripes we'd be healed. You understand? And all that was going on that day, and it was amazing. It wasn't very exciting. It was really very sad. To see it with your eyes, it'd be heartbreaking. I remember Scott Mendenhall, the first youth pastor we had, when the Passion of the Christ came out, we went, the very first time it was showing, we went to the very first showing, the movie theater was packed in the middle of the day. And we went in that movie, and we see just probably the most realistic depiction of how Jesus was beat and judged and what that day was like. And I remember at parts of that movie, people weeping in the movie theater. People saying no in the movie. People literally saying no, like they didn't know what the story was going to be, And I remember at times for me, I had to cover my eyes. Literally in that movie, I'm covering my eyes saying, I can't. What was happening, before we got to this place, what was happening was so abusive. It was so awful that when I saw it on a movie screen, I couldn't watch it. Chills running through me. You know what I mean? Chills running through me. No, Lord, no, no, no. It just became so alive to me. As a little kid, I grew up in church and I'd heard that Jesus had been crucified and how they whipped Him and all the mocking and all. But man, oh man. And we pick up here, and what I've been doing over the summer when we've just it's been kind of an off and on summer because I've been gone and this and that and the other, but I've been trying to bring to you this thought about individuals who had an encounter with Jesus. And every time you have an encounter with Jesus, something significant changed. We talked about the woman at the well, how she went and told everybody, come and hear this man who knows everything about me. And Nicodemus, how he was caught in all that legalism and how Jesus moved him, how Jesus taught him that you got to be changed. You got to get out of that. And we talked about several different stories with encounter with Jesus. But today I want to talk to you about this encounter that a thief had with Jesus. Now this is a very unusual story because a thief, we assume a thief is about eye level with Jesus on the cross, The circumstances that day were the same for them, you know what I mean? One was on the right and one was on the left. There's really two having an encounter, I guess, today. Their circumstances are tragic and awful. I don't know what their upbringing had been. I've dealt with a lot of people with a criminal past. It's just kind of been, and I find that much of their upbringing has been terrible. It's like their lives often have been a mess from birth, you know what I mean? Just been a mess. And on that day, all three were sentenced to die. But what I know, the Scripture tells me what's very exciting about this particular verse is, and Jesus is right in the middle of that. I don't know where you are in life. Many of you, I know your story. I know what you walked through. Some of you, I do know where you are. But the truth of the matter is Jesus is trying to be right in the middle of your situation. I don't know if I can just call your name personally, if that makes any... Lisa Cox. Jesus is right in the middle of your situation. Jesus is right where you're at, girl. He's trying to get right in the middle of your business. He's trying to use you. You're a 4-H leader and judge, right? Jesus right in the middle of that craziness. What? Yeah. Amanda, Jesus is right in the middle of that whole thing. I know you can't see him at times, you know. I'm going to read something to you in a minute that's going to be very powerful. I hope you grab a hold of it. But Jesus is trying to be in the middle of so much of what we're into. Lachelle's having that third baby. Oh my goodness, for years she couldn't have a baby. You know what I mean? We cried with her. She's having struggle and have children. All of a sudden, oh my gosh, she's a machine. We're going to celebrate a third baby. You know what I mean? How excited we are. How Jesus in the middle of stuff. Jesus in the middle of your life. Jesus in the middle of, Jesus trying to help you make decisions. Jesus trying to wake you up to who you're supposed to be. Jesus trying to give you, Jesus good. You know, Jesus hanging on a cross that day for our good. He's trying to save us. In the middle of this bad, awful scene, Jesus shows up in the middle and he's trying to save. Trying to catch you and all that. You know, there's a minute in my life, I think it's happened to these boys, there's a minute you wake up and you say, wait a minute, it really is all about Jesus being in the middle. It really is. Everything else fails. Everything else gets broken. Everything else is a mess. No, it's got to be about Jesus. Our hope is only in Jesus. I learned a little kid song. It's a Christmas song. Why that would pop in my brain right now, I have no idea. Little kids, I hope that you'll see my hope is only in Jesus. I hope that you'll see my hope is only in him. And then it changes. I hope that you'll see your hope is only in Jesus. I hope that you'll see your hope is only in him. And he's going to be right in the middle. And he's going to be right in the middle. I'll tell you, I told a story that a lot of these young people had not heard about my life. I'd love to tell it to you sometimes. I think many of you haven't heard it before. But in the very worst day of my life, at the lowest point in my entire life, Jesus did the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. I got a story to give you goosebumps. Isn't that right, guys? I got a story blows your mind. Doesn't it blow your mind? Just absolutely blows. They didn't see what was coming. How Jesus, in the lowest point of my life, Jesus did one of the greatest things that ever happened. Jesus right in the middle. Jesus right in the middle of my troubles. Jesus right in the middle. I don't know how to get you to, but here he is. Here he is where he always wants to be. And he's always trying to get there, you know what I mean? We try to push him out, But listen, love has a way of finding its way back to the middle. And because he loves so much, he's not going to quit. Does that make sense? Love is this incredible motivator. I don't know if you understand that, but love, it gets you there. Does that make sense? If you love somebody, you're going to find a way to get there, right? You get that whole thing? We were leaving the airport in Peru. And we'd been there a couple weeks. I've been all over the city and pretty exciting. And I want you to know, my first love, is for the church that I pass. I love you guys. I'm not all into the hugging thing that girl does, but no. Oh. I'm not real huggy, but she claims she's got a hugging gift, so she wants to hug on me. And the more I try to, as a pastor, you learn not to hug on women. You kind of like, you know what I mean? But no, she's going to break every rule. Oh, I'm at the airport. I'm going to the airport. I'm going to the airport. And there were people that I love and over the years have spent time with, and they've ministered to me, I've ministered to them. We genuinely love each other. But we got so busy with 40-some people in a group and going and all this stuff that, we're going out the door to go to the airport, and these people start showing up at the hotel. And the only reason why they showed up at the hotel was they figured out when I was leaving and they loved me, and they wanted to just say, wanted to hug me and say, man, we didn't get to spend a lot of time this time. We love you. It's funny how love will get you places. That makes sense. You get that whole thing? It's funny how what you'll do because you love somebody. You know what I mean? And it's fun. I just want to tell you, that's the strongest motivator for Jesus. You understand that? That's his strongest. He loves you so much. He's trying to get right in the middle of your business. He ain't going to let you forget him. He loves you too much. He ain't going to let you get away with missing him because he loves you too much. You catching all that? You understand that? His great love for you means he's going to get in your business. He's going to get right in the middle of your business. He ain't going to let you pass by and not, you pass by me. If I know you and love you and you pass by me and don't talk to me, I'm chasing you down. And Jesus be the same, you know. I have people around here sometimes all stuck up, you know, come by me with their nose in the air. Landry does that to me all the time. I'm picking on her just because I can. Walks by me, nose in the air. I'm like, hey. They walk right by. You ever put out your hand to shake somebody and they walk right by? It's like, I had some teenage boys here. I shouldn't tell you this stuff. They're in a teenage camp. Some of those teenage boys didn't know I was a pastor. You know what I mean? And they're coming in after big events, and I'm asking them questions about, hey, what happened out there and who won and all that. And they're looking at me like, I don't know you. You ain't going to treat me like that. So they walk away. I go after them. Hey, senor. Senor stuck up. I don't know if you know who I am. It don't really matter. But the truth of the matter is I ask you a question. They're like, oh, I'm sorry. You better be. There's nothing more exciting. I youth pastored 11 years. There's nothing more exciting for me than to see young people going for it. Does that make sense? Busting out of their shell. Hey, and when I see that, you know what I mean? And they don't give me the time of day, I'm going to fix that. Since then, they've learned who I am, and they're not going to do that to me again. I'm just kidding. But the truth of the matter is, love, hey, will hang you out there. Love will cause you to get in, and that's the motivation of Jesus. You get that whole thing? There's a girl back there. I've done a pretty poor job. I'm just a typical man. I've done a pretty poor job over the years of expressing love to the one woman that I love with all my heart. It's just work gets in the way. Man thing, you know? Haven't spent enough time, haven't done enough. You know what I mean? It's just how life goes. But there ain't a thing I wouldn't do for her. I got a boy up there in the balcony. He's going to be a senior this year at West Liberty playing football. I always wait till they're senior year. I'm going to try not to miss a game this year. I'm going to do better than that. I'm going to make every game this year. Watch him play. Look forward to watching him play. Look forward to them hauling him out on a stretcher. Yeah, that's my boy right there. That's right. Got a secret whistle. I got to refine that secret whistle. I got a whistle that only my kids know. You know what I mean? And they can hear it, and they get embarrassed by it. They don't like it, but when they hear it, they know Dad's. So I got to get the whistle out. You know what I mean? I got to get my secret whistle out so he knows when he does a good job. In the minute it's quiet, I'll blast the secret whistle. My daughter used to play basketball, and in a secret minute, I'd do that whistle thing, and she'd like, I just see her body language. Like, Dad, stop. Nobody in the world knew it was me but her. Love is a great motivator. And if you don't understand why Jesus is in the middle of that, hey, you're missing him. His great love for you is going to be, he's going to be in the middle. Let me tell you something. They're going to die. But one thing I know about the Lord, it ain't over till it's over. And He does His best work in the very worst moments in life. Next verse. Sorry to preach that one so long. And He says, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. While they were gambling over His clothes in front of Him. Now, if that's me or you on the cross, and they've treated us that way for no charge, we're on the cross. What are we? Are we loving and forgiving? No, we're angry as fire, man. I'm up there going, Lord, send lightning, Lord, right now. Lord, just strike them down. You know what I mean? This is unfair and unjust. Lord, in your justice, just put the 220 on them, Lord. Just hit them. David prayed, you know, in the Old Testament you get away with this because Jesus said, a new commandment I give you, love your enemies. But in the Old Testament, David used to pray, Lord, break their teeth off in their mouth. Because back then he didn't have that new commandment, you see. And David, who's this great, Bible patriarch, he would have had the attitude when he got done wrong, just bust their teeth off in their mouth, Lord. To me, hey, one of the greatest Bible verses there is this understanding that Jesus hanging on the cross, they're gambling over His clothes below Him. Hey, He's been beat to mocked, spit upon, embarrassed. And He's up there going, forgive them, Lord. And basically what He's saying is they don't understand. They don't know what they do. They don't understand who I am. They don't understand. Lord, forgive them because I know they don't understand. That's incredible. Again, love, even for your enemies, represented here by Jesus, is this amazing thing. Next verse. And the people stood looking on, but even the rulers with them sneered, saying, He saved others, let Him save Himself, if He is the Christ, the chosen of God. Now, this is the part we don't often relate in this story, that while He's hanging there on the cross, people are literally yelling at Him, why don't you save yourself? You could say you're Son of God. You've saved others. Save yourself. They're yelling at while He's up there saying, Lord, forgive them. The very next verse is they're yelling at Him, hey, big liar. You said you were something. If you're something, come on down. That's going on. The rulers, that makes me even madder. The religious rulers are yelling that. In Matthew's account, it gives a little more. Matthew's account, it talks about more what they were saying at the moment of the cross. Likewise, the chief priests also mocking, and the scribes and elders said, He saved others. He cannot save Himself. He cannot save. If He is the King of Israel, let Him now come down from the cross, and we'll believe Him. That's what they're yelling. Oh, you saved others. You can't save yourself. And these are the leaders of the religious. Next one. He trusted in God, let Him deliver him now, if he will have him, for He said, I'm the Son of God. They're mocking. Next one. Even the robbers, this changes something. Even the robbers who were crucified with Him, what's that? Reviled Him with the same thing. Even the robbers. Wait a minute. What? What's the story you know about the robbers on the cross? The thieves on the cross? Don't you know that one mocked Him and the other? What's this say? In Matthew's account, it says both of them. This is my opinion. I don't believe the Bible contradicts itself. I believe when there's multiple sources to a story, it's really giving us more information. It's my opinion completely because of this account that both of those robbers on the cross in the beginning on the cross were mocking Jesus just like the crowd was. They wanted somebody to save Him and to save them. Does that make sense? So it's really clear right there that both of these robbers in the beginning were mocking Jesus. I showed you this account because I want you to see something happened to one of those men as Jesus was in the middle. His presence was there. See, I'm trying to talk to you about individual accounts of people meeting Jesus. And on that day, a robber on a cross had an interaction with Jesus. And he started that day, you didn't know this, but he started that day just like the crowd, just like the other robber, mocking Jesus. You see it right there. And the robbers who were crucified just mocked him. You see that? Most of the time we miss that kind of stuff. We think, oh, one was a good robber. No, they were both dirty, rotten robbers. And they both wanted to be saved. And they were both just in with the crowd saying, if you save us. Just go ahead. Save yourself, save us. Come on, do something. But in Luke's account, we don't see it in the other accounts. In Luke's account, something happened as Jesus said, Lord, forgive them. As Jesus is hanging on the cross and the other things that Jesus said while he was hanging, something happened just being in the presence. That encounter on that, a man's heart changed hanging on a cross. I think it's happened to you and me. I think some of us were we didn't care about God. While we're yet sinners, Christ died for us. But we didn't care about God. Many of you don't care. You didn't care. I don't care. You didn't care. I'd say it that way. You didn't care. Whole bunch of your life, you didn't care. Bill, you talked about being just a rowdy. You were anti-God for a long time. Isn't that part of your story? You mocked people that were, didn't you? You gave it to a man. Now look at you. You're the front row, man. You're the third row back in the church. That's some of us, isn't it? Some of us were guys saying, hey, I don't need that stuff. That's just a crutch. That didn't, them Jesus people, hey, that's all crazy, that's all weird, it's all about money, it's all about this, it's all about... I don't need God. But Jesus just kept loving. You had an encounter with him at some point. Something happened. On this day, for that man, Jesus was hanging beside him on a cross. Something's happening. You can't have Jesus' presence around you and him not touch you. You hear me? I'll just say to you, on these mission trips, at the youth camps, all the stuff we have, the thing, what God's trying to do in our church so much now is cause every one of us to start having these encounters with God. God was trying to move us. You hear me? God's trying to move us from some kind of head knowledge of God, listen, to this experiencing God thing where God has touched us on the inside and we're no longer the same. God's trying to jerk us out of our shell. God's trying to reveal to us who we really are. God's trying to, the whole thing that happened on this stage today, and me kind of going off on you about the difference you can make, it's because the Lord is trying to draw us into experiencing Him, and experiencing life, and living things, not just a head nod, but knowing God. Living in your godly purpose, being alive. So many people in the church, they're basically, they know who Jesus, asked Jesus to forgive them, but they still live in the dumps, and they still live in the bummer state that the world's in. You know what I mean? They still live so low. The Lord wants to rise up something in you where God just touched you and you're not the same. You hear me? Noah talked about a worship service we were in. And I just want to tell you something. We were in a couple church services. We didn't understand what they were singing. But when worship came on, those people wanted God so much. Is that true, Leslie? We were in services where people wanted God. We were in worship services where teenagers were dancing with all their might. Dancing with all their might. So you see here in Matthew, both those robbers were mocking the Lord. They're on the cross beside Him, but they're mocking Him. But one of them has an encounter with Jesus that changes him forever. Well, changes eternity forever. I just want to tell you, if you have an encounter with Jesus, it isn't just this life that changes. Eternity changes forever. Dina was up here talking about her life being a mess. Listen, I'm just telling you my story. My life's been a mess. My mom was abused by her mother, not sexually, but emotionally, worse than you can ever imagine. Locked in closets, just hit in the head. My mom has issues in her life, head trauma in her life, where her mom hit her in her head, on her head so much. She has like a football injury, I think, where she's been hit in the head so much by her own mother. My dad was an only child that had no boundaries and just anger issues, pornography, all kinds of stuff in his life. It was just kind of out of control and a mess. But Jesus loved the Hackworth family. Jesus loved us. And He just kept pursuing us, man. He just kept pursuing us. He'd chase us. And He wanted us to know Him and not just have a head knowledge of Him. He wanted us to know. He wanted to bring us to life. He wanted to give us life, life everlasting. He wanted this life to be filled with His joy. He wanted this life to be full. He wanted this life to, the word that Jesus uses, He wanted this life to be abundant. I'll give you abundant life. You hear me? And when I started to know Jesus, listen, there was a while where the enemy was like suppressed the ability to be joyful because it was just always heavy. And even as I've done ministry over the years, the hardest thing you can ever do in life, listen to me, is try to step out and do something for the Lord. Because not only is it hard, but there's an enemy that resists. And there's something got to happen. I'm just telling you, you have to begin to know God at a level that's greater than all your troubles. That makes sense? You got to begin to know God as your Savior, as your friend, as your helper, as the one that will help you in the low places, you know, so you don't have all this fear or all this worry or all this anxiety, because the Lord is the one who gives me life. I live and my hope is all in Him. It's all I have. And it's enough. And it'll be enough tomorrow. It'll be enough the next day. You hear me? I don't care where you are. The Lord has more for you than this life has to hold you down. Catching me? Okay, you're sleeping. I'll say this again. I was raised in a Pentecostal church. You can't be too loud for me. This whole Methodist quiet thing we do sometimes scares me. I think, man, the whole church has died. The whole church is dead, man. What happened? Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Next verse. We're going to the back. Go back, Colin, would you? The people stood looking on. Even the ruler sneered. He saved others, saved himself. Go ahead. Soldiers mocked. They offered him sour wine. You see, just mocking, and he said he was thirsty, so they gave him something awful. Next one. If you're the king of the Jews, save yourself. You see in this? When we talk about the crucifixion scene, we don't talk enough about how they chewed into him while he's hanging on a cross. Even the thieves on the cross. Next one, run out of time. That inscription, he's the king of the Jews. It's funny how that got there. You know what I mean? In 3 languages. This is awesome. Go ahead. Wish I had more time. And one of the criminals hung there, blasphemed him, saying, if you're the Christ, save yourself and us. You see what their motivation was there, right? Hey, if you save yourself, maybe you'll save us. Next one. But the other answered and rebuked him, saying, Don't you fear God, seeing you are under the same condemnation? Something happened. And I'm telling you, it's just having an encounter with the Lord, being in the very presence of Him, watching Him over the hours that they were on the cross. Something happened in that man's heart. There was like a Grinch thing, you know. His heart grew. Next one. We Indeed, justly, for we receive the due reward for our deeds, but this man has done nothing wrong. How do you know that? Just being with him. Next one. And he said to Jesus, Lord, remember me when you come into your kingdom. Next line. And Jesus said to him, surely I say to you today, you will be with me in paradise. I'll tell you this last story when we get out of here. We were in a place called Hen Hen a couple weeks ago. 2.5 hours or so by boat away from the main city. Some of these folks say, they were so joyful when we came. Well, if you're 2.5 hours away from the main city and a bunch of white people show up with clothes and toys, and you'd be joyful too. I mean, we come in with candy. And I mean, just think for a minute. You're out here on this river every day of your life, every day. And on a weekday, when you don't expect it, all of a sudden a bunch of these Americans come and bring clothes and candy and things for the kids and games and just turn your city upside down. I mean, it's like revival, man. I mean, it's like... So we go to this place called Hen Hen, and we're doing what we do, and you'd be proud of your church because we did it well. I had to just put them on a stage here. I just put them on a stage and let them do it for you. You would not believe the energy and the joy and the effort that was given by people in your church. We're at Hen Hen, so we do our skits and we play with kids and we're passing out candy and we're just doing, and the whole place is buzzing. There's a nun there. A couple of years ago, we'd been there building. And I think the Protestant church, and there was a pastor there, the Protestant movement in that town had grown so much that I think the Catholic Church had put a nun in that village. Hey, you're not going to become Protestant. We're a Catholic area, so we're going to throw a nun out there in that village, and she's going to win you back to being a Catholic. So she's standing there in the back. She's about 30 years old, man. She don't like nothing we're doing. None of the women talking to her. I'm thinking, man, you Catholics sent an angry nun. And it's snack time, you know, so we're giving out. That day we brought this big thing of rolls, a big, like a Hawaiian sweet roll. I mean, just a sweet bread, really good, you know, everybody, we liked them, you know what I mean? We brought this big old flat of a bunch of bread, and we're passing this bread out to these kids. Our teenagers were scared of this nun. And I don't blame them. She was standing there, nobody talking to her. And we've just had a blast, laughing and carrying on in the whole town. God's doing something at a place called Hen Hen, 2.5 hours from the main city. You know, that was the pastor I told you last time got bit by the rattlesnake when he went to get a beam for us. And I always said, the pastor here's like the Apostle Paul. He lived through 2 poisonous snake bites and he keeps on. So God's doing something in that town, you know what I mean? And the Catholic nun. And we show up and we're rocking the whole town, man. I mean, just rocking. Holy Spirit comes over me. No, not really. I just said, hey, my kids are afraid to deal with this nun. I'll take her on. And I grab a couple sweet rolls and I walk up to her and I don't know the language. I just hand them to her and she looks at me like for me? And I said, yeah, it's here. She takes those sweet rolls and she seemed very grateful for them. And I just kind of turn and walk away. But out of the corner of my eye, I watched her go. She was starving. Almost thought there's a spiritual picture in this whole thing. And I thought, my goodness, we brought a bunch of orange soda. I thought, sweet rolls worked. I'm going to get her a bunch of orange soda. So I take her 2 cups of orange soda and I give them to her. For me? Yeah, here. I act like I didn't see her. And she looks around. I walk away. She looks around. I see her go, doo, doo. She's starving. You saw it, didn't you guys? She's starving. I went back there real quick and said, hey, what do we got left over? They said, we got about 6 or 8 big rolls here left over. I said, give those to me. I went over there and I gave them to that girl, man. I gave that Catholic nun. She's like, for me? I started to look around. There were a couple. She broke off some pieces and gave it to a couple kids, you know, just doing her duty, which was pretty good. And I turned back around, and she was going. We had about that much left in a 2-3 liter of thing. I took her that, man. I'd be. From that moment on, she laughed and smiled. I think we won over a Catholic. I think we won a nun over. Wouldn't be surprised on Sunday morning she ain't sitting in the Protestant church today. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Today you'll be with me in paradise. Today, hey, listen to me. If you just open up your heart and let the Lord work, hey, God will work something in you so wonderful. And it won't just be for this life, it'll be for the next. Colin, I didn't get to all them things I wanted to show. Part 2 next week, okay? For this service. I did show them in the first service. I got to come back. I did some writing while we were in Peru, and I want to show you some of the things I wrote. So, Father, we thank you for time together today. This understanding of an encounter with Jesus. God, we're grateful that we can have that also. This thief on the cross, Lord, came in the wrong mindset. He was going to die that day. But he had an encounter with Jesus and he lived forever. That very day, he was with Jesus in paradise. Lord, you've taught us a bunch today about how we should live. I feel strongly that the message of abundance in this life and living beyond our circumstances, Lord, very powerful here today. So I pray, God, you touch us all. Thanks, Lord, for the things we've seen and heard. Thank you, Lord, for being present with us today. Lord, let us receive the word like the nun received those rolls. And let it be good for our soul. We'll give you thanks in Jesus' name.